To be beginning a new series of segments on this show. It's going to be called Flashback, and it's going to be old clips that I really, really love, and I've seen 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 times over and over because they're so great. So this one here is going to be Bernie Sanders ripping Alan Greenspan, a fucking new one.
Mr. Sanders?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and Mr. Greenspan, nice to see you again. Mr. Greenspan, I have long been concerned that you are way out of touch with the needs of the middle class and working families of our country, that you see your major function in your position as the need to represent the wealthy and large corporations. And I must tell you that your testimony today only confirms all of my suspicions, and I urge you, and I mean this seriously, because you're an honest person. I think you just don't know what's going on in the real world. And I would urge you, come with me to Vermont, meet real people. The country clubs and the cocktail parties are not real America. The millionaires and billionaires are the exception to the rule. You talk about an improving economy while we have lost 3 million private sector jobs in the last 2 years. Long-term unemployment has more than tripled. Unemployment is higher than it has been since 1994. We have a $4 trillion national debt. 1.4 million Americans have lost their health insurance. Millions of seniors can't afford prescription drugs. Middle-class families can't send their kids to college because they don't have the money to do that. Bankruptcy cases have increased by a record-breaking 23%. Business investment is at its lowest level in more than 50 years. CEOs make more than 500 times of what their workers make. The middle class is shrinking. We have the greatest gap between the rich and the poor of any industrialized nation, and this is an economy that is improving. I hate to see what would happen if our economy was sinking. Now, today, you may not have known this. I suspect that you don't, but you have insulted tens of millions of American workers. You have defended over the years, among other things, the abolition of the minimum wage, one of your policies, and giving huge tax breaks to billionaires. But today you reached a new low, I think, by suggesting that manufacturing in America doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where the product is produced. We lost 2 million manufacturing jobs in the last 2 years alone, 10% of our workforce. Walmart has replaced General Motors as the major employer in America, paying people starvation wages rather than living wages, and all of that does not matter to you. Doesn't matter. If it's produced in China, where workers are making 30 cents an hour, or produced in Vermont, where workers can make 20 bucks an hour, it doesn't matter. You have told the American people that you support a trade policy which is selling them out, only working for the CEOs who can take our plants to China, Mexico, and India. You insulted Mr. Castle. Mr. Castle, a few moments ago, a good Republican, told you that we're seeing not only the decline of manufacturing jobs, but white-collar information technology jobs. Forrester Research says that over the next 15 years, 3.3 million U.S. service industry jobs and 136 billion in wages will move offshore to India, Russia, China, and the Philippines. Does any of this matter to you? Do you give one whit of concern to the middle class and working families of this country? That's my question.
Congressman, we have the highest standard of living in the world.
No, we do not. You go to Scandinavia and you will find that people have a much higher standard of living in terms of education, health care, and decent paying jobs. Wrong, Mr. Greenspan.
May I answer your question?
You sure may.
Thank you. For a major industrial country, we have created the most advanced technologies, the highest standard of living for a country of our size. Our economic growth is crucial to us. The incomes, the purchasing power of our employees, our workers, our people are by far more important than what it is we produce.
This is probably one of the best presses and corners I've ever seen Bernie Sanders put someone in. But the speech that Bernie Sanders gives is unbelievably motivating. Like, how do you not listen to this guy and just be so motivated? And I'm going to play that for you guys towards the end. But the point here is that the way that he talks and how much he says, and keep in mind, this was during the Bush years, so the economy was fucking tanking. Like, Bush was horrible on economic policy. He was absolutely terrible. So jobs were going smaller. The disproportionality of workers and CEOs was just absolutely skyrocketing. People were becoming poorer. The rich were getting richer. And he presses him. And this Alan Greenspan is one ugly motherfucker. And that's coming from me. So it's like, dude, this dude's sitting there like, I'm like, what are you doing, bro? Okay, but anyways, let's I'm going off on a tangent here because I fucking hate that guy. But if you don't know, Alan Greenspan was an extreme proponent of supply side, or trickle-down, I should say, where you cut the taxes for the rich and you raise it a little bit on the poor or keep it the same. And somehow there's supposed to be a budget surplus or a smaller deficit than the previous president. I don't know where the hell that comes from. I don't know. It's never worked before. Last time I checked, the last Republican to bring in a surplus was Dwight Eisenhower, and that was when Republicans had monetary policy of today's Democrats. Not even that far, actually. So not even that far. When Dwight Eisenhower had brought in a surplus, the marginal tax rate was 99%. So, and then Alan Greenspan tries responding, and Bernie Sanders goes, you should come to Vermont, look at the real working people, not the people you see at cocktail parties, not these buffoons that you see at the rich parties, but the people who are the working class. And Bernie Sanders really, I don't know how you watch this and go, yeah, you're a piece of shit, like Steven Crowder would say. The dude is trying to fight for the American people, trying to make life better. And then Alan Greenspan goes, yeah, it's a great, we have amazing life standard. No, we don't, motherfucker. We're super, like, half of America is in poverty. 50% of America is in poverty. How is that possible? And countries like Denmark and all these other Scandinavian countries by far have the highest happiness ranking, because people don't have to worry about, oh shit, I got a heart attack, or I got some kind of, I got cancer, whatever disease it may be. They don't have to worry about paying $200,000, $200,000, $300,000, or even having the healthcare companies accept them and give them the treatment, because as we saw in the Paul Ryan town hall, the guy confronted him, and he was like, dude, like, I used to be, I believe it was a Reagan and Nixon, I think, advisor, and I got diagnosed with cancer, and I offered them 2 to 3 times of what they would have spent, but they denied. They said no, because he had a pre-existing condition, or it was just too much for them to spend. They just denied him, and because Obamacare was put in place, he was able to get health care, and now, because of Barack Obama, he is alive today.